Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to more Total Extreme Wrestling here for our TNA playthrough. We are moving on from the recent Sacrifice pay-per-view, now looking ahead to Slammiversary, 5 weeks away. That's right, we've extended it to an extra week to give us one more week of build-up. We pushed back Hard Justice will just be a 3-week build between Victory Road and Hard Justice. So we made that little adjustment there, giving us a little bit more time to build a Slammiversary. So 5 weeks to go to Slammiversary. It's going to be big. We've got a lot of new storylines planned, a lot of new things planned. Hopefully it works. We're taking a couple of risks as well, and I also want your feedback. Everything we've got planned right now is not 100% set in stone. We can make some changes. That's why I've given myself one extra week where you guys can comment here and make any changes or any adjustments. But we have some new storylines, but we'll get to the recent results of Sacrifice just to give you a quick little recap if you missed it. Alright, so we had an 87 rated pay-per-view, 32,000 attended, which is incredible when you think about it. 0.51 buy rate, so the buy rates are still okay. Obviously, you'd think that might be getting better. Obviously, the buy rates aren't that realistic, or TV ratings aren't realistic, attendances aren't that realistic in a sense, but 0.51 is not ideal. We haven't really grown that much in terms of getting the buy rate, but it's still good. Ahsan, he beat Jeff Hardy in the main event to retain the title for just 84. 84. Very, very disappointing considering what else we had on the card. Jay Lethal beat Rikishi in just a whatever match to fill in some time. Give Jay Lethal a win. Goldberg beat Abyss in a barbed wire massacre match, which actually turned out to be okay, 80 rated. It could have been a lot better as well. Goldberg, hardcore matches aren't his thing, and doing a barbed wire massacre match, very different for Goldberg, but I figured, why not? Let's do it. And we talked quite in depth last episode about Goldberg's future, and perhaps he might not be around soon. Maybe it might have been the episode before, sorry, but in the last couple of episodes we've been talking about Goldberg. What is his future here? So I figured let's amp it up a little bit and let's get the most out of Goldberg. So we tried a barbed wire massacre match. Abyss was fantastic. Goldberg was okay. Ended up being 80 rated. Nakamura won a Battle Royal to become the #1 contender for the Global Championship, which is, again, another risk, but we went for it, and hopefully it pays off. So now Morgan will take on Nakamura at Slammiversary, which should be a good match. I think that'll be... I think that could hit 90. I really do. I think that could be a really big match. One of the best matches on the show, and I say one of the best because there was another one just like it. AJ Styles beat Low Ki to win the Super X Cup. So now he's the #1 contender for Alex Shelley's X Division Championship, which that match will take place at Slammiversary as well. 99 rated between Low Ki and AJ Styles, which is really unbelievable. You know, Low Ki and AJ Styles have had great matches in the past, but you bring these guys together again after Low Ki's been out of the company for about a year. Hasn't got the popularity that AJ Styles does, but able to produce such a great performance. These two just competing against each other so well. Great chemistry. 99 rated, a fantastic way to end the Super X Cup, and that kind of makes it worth it. You know, the Super X Cup before that, when the ratings were okay, but it could have been a lot better, but finishing the cup on a 99 is excellent. Very happy about that. Lita made her debut when a no contest took place between Awesome Kong, Gail Kim, Beth Phoenix, and Rebecca Knox in a fatal 4-way. It was a draw because, just a time limit draw. And afterwards, Lita came out and brawled. She came out and laid out all 4 competitors in that fatal 4-way to announce her arrival here in TNA. Afterwards, she got on the mic and she cut a promo against Melina, basically saying she's coming for the championship. And then we had America's Most Wanted. They beat Chris Jericho and Christian. They have now won the TNA World Tag Team titles again. 99 rated, so again, another fantastic stellar of a match. Great way to open the show. Afterwards, Christian chucked a temper tantrum and even pushed Jericho and shoved him down. So Christian very pissed off, very livid that he lost. So yeah. But that was our Sacrifice pay-per-view. It obviously could have been a hell of a lot better. You position a couple matches differently. We put the tag title, the Super X Cup on last. You know, the tag title was, I think, a sure thing. I think it was a sure thing that was going to be huge. But I just wanted to have the world title main event. I trusted Ahsan and Jeff Hardy. it just didn't deliver. They've had great matches in the past, but this one just didn't deliver. This whole feud just did not deliver. It's very frustrating. It's a very annoying situation. I'm not sure what really went wrong. It just didn't quite happen between the two. But anyways, moving along. New storylines. Slammiversary. We now are building towards it. Storylines. So obviously Matt Morgan, Nakamura. That's official. That's happening. This is the one I need help with. King of the Mountain. Now, at the moment, I'm going to do a King of the Mountain match and not have the world title involved. I think having the world title involved is also a good idea. But King of the Mountain is basically, for what the concept I'm thinking right now, the winner of the King of the Mountain basically gets to skip the Bound for Glory series and gets a title shot now. It's kind of like, let's find out who's the best right now in TNA out of the 5 top contenders. You win that, you get the next championship opportunities realistically over the course of the next couple of months. That 3-month period that we have between the Bound for Glory, between Slammiversary and Bound for Glory, that's kind of when we're going to use this talent, this worker, whoever wins this match, in the title hunt. So it's really a big thing. Last year we did King of the Mountain for the world title, and Christian Cage won that, defended his championship, which is all good and all that. That's fine. But I just feel like maybe we might switch it up, use this as an opportunity for someone to get a big win, and then move them into the championship hunt afterwards. So I've got Abyss, Fallen Angel, Jeff Hardy, Jeff Jarrett, Samoa Joe. Our 5 top contenders, all in there. I thought about having Sting in there, but we're going to do something else with Sting. The only real other names I guess you could think of would be A-Train, Scott Steiner, Lashley's not available yet. You know, there's really not a lot of other names, so we've gone with Abyss, Fallen Angel, Jeff Hardy, Jeff Jarrett, Samoa Joe. I think that's going to be a good match. I think that's 5 really good workers there. You know, you couldn't remove Jeff Hardy because he just recently had a title shot. You could. Obviously, he probably won't win it. But because he's recently had a title shot, you can kind of put him in there as a last chance effort type of deal. I think that match will work. Now, let me know. Do you think a title match would be better, or this number 1 contenders? I'm the King of the Mountain. Basically, I am the next man in line to get the championship opportunity. I think that works for me, because then they can. The winner of it will not be a part of the Bound for Glory series. They'll skip that. Instead, they'll get a championship opportunity before Bound for Glory. So I think it works. I don't know. Let me know. But I think it works. I'm happy with it. Gail Kim versus Lita. So I think we're going to save Lita and Melina for Bound for Glory. I think that makes sense. Lita can take on a number of other contenders. That way she can earn her opportunity at the championship. So straight away, Lita and Gail Kim. Who's the second best? Who's the top woman in TNA other than Melina? It's Gail Kim. It's heel versus heel, yes, but we can roll with it. We can run with it. It'll be okay. The match quality doesn't really matter in a way. It's only the women's, so it doesn't necessarily matter all that much. But I think we'll have Gail Kim and Lita. Good way to introduce Lita, test her out. Hopefully she'll perform well, and we'll go from there. So I think that'll work. And again, we don't have, Melina's kind of beaten all of our top heels. So with that being said, we had to make a bit of a risk. We had to make a bit of a change. We're going to bring in Melina to take on Molly Holly. Molly Holly has the popularity, and right now we haven't had Melina and Molly Holly take each other on. So we can do that. It's a pretty solid match because Molly Holly's got about 55 pop. Melina, I think, is 67. So it's probably our best option right now. Other than, we've got Beth Phoenix, Rebecca Knox, Sarah Del Rey, a few others really low end. So I think this is the best option for us right now. Here's a different one. Loser leaves TNA. 6 struggling competitors in TNA fight it out to keep their job in the company. The competitor that is pinned in the 6-way match will lose their job. Who will be fired? So you got a 6-way match. I might even make it Ultimate X because most of them are in it that are basically X Division guys. One of them will lose their job. We talked about it recently on an episode how we're looking to maybe do a roster turnover. Some guys that we probably don't need anymore, we can think about maybe releasing. We basically picked out 6 guys that we're not really doing a lot with right now in the company, and one of them will be gone. Alex Skipper, Jay Lethal, Matt Sydal, Petey Williams, Shannon Moore, and Sanjay Dutt. Also, this gives them a storyline. We can actually utilize these guys for a little bit of time, and whoever loses, whoever gets pinned in this match, is gone. That's it. They get fired. So we are going to fire someone. We may as well make a storyline out of it, and the winner of the match might get a little bit extra out of it and get a bit of momentum building. So it might be a bit of a way to give one of our lower end guys a bit of a push, and someone can get the boot as well. And that way, if we want to bring up, you know, Cody Rhodes from developmental or whatever, there's now a new spot available. Or some guys who aren't getting much opportunity, that creates an extra spot for them. We also have Chris Jericho and Christian Cage basically continue on the tag team feud. We've taken out Team 3D from it. We've kept James Storm and Chris Harrison because I think we might have Jericho and Christian either compete for the titles again and lose, or take on Harrison Storm in some singles matches over the next few weeks. We'll have to figure it out. I think on this episode we'll have Christian turn on Jericho, or it's either that or we have another tag team title, the rematch. They just say, hey, last night was a mistake, we had a bad night, let's come back and do it again. They fail again, and then Christian snaps once and for all and beats down Chris Jericho. So that might be what we do. If we do that, we can also have another excuse to maybe get another 99 rated matchup. So it might not be a bad idea to get the most we can out of this storyline and the most we can out of this feud between the tag team champions. So we'll go with that. Sting's future. Now, I'm looking at Sting, and I don't necessarily know what to do with him right now. In his current position, there's just nothing for him to do. His in-ring skills is not good enough. They've been pretty poor. What do you do with Sting? I think he's declined a little bit too much, to be fair, to what he could do at this time period, because Sting was still pretty good in 2007. He was still pretty good. So his stats are a little bit too low compared to what I really think he could do. At the moment, I want to do the main event Mafia. I think that's what Sting's future would be. The main event Mafia. And I've got Scott Steiner and Jeff Jarrett as two potential members in mind. And we can find maybe a young gun to join them. Maybe a Samoa Joe could join them. Or someone else. Maybe a tag team. Whatever. Find another couple guys. Make this main event Mafia. Make it happen. So we're going to do the storyline. The Icon is contemplating his future as age continues to hinder his performance. He is wondering if it is time to hang up the boots or continue on. A long-time rival in Scott Steiner has challenged Sting to a match. Will he accept? So I've done this because Scott Steiner's doing nothing right now, and I figured you could have Scott Steiner beat Sting. Sting kind of walks away, maybe teasing that he's done, but then he comes back, and instead of, you know, being against Steiner, he decides to align with him and create this thing, because obviously they have that, you know, history between each other, and kind of go with that and play off that. Yeah, probably Steiner might not be the best opponent to do that with, but if Steiner essentially ends his career in a sense, then you kind of have that connection there, and that storyline arc can continue, and you can kind of, you know, bring it back together. So maybe you bring Sting off, take Sting off TV for a little bit, and have him reform or create the main event Mafia, which I think could work. Another big stable, a heel stable, yes, but I think it could work. I think it could. Dutch Dynasty Standard, so I'm still continuing that. We might do one or two more explosion matches and end that one. Here's the other one, the world title on the line, Goldberg versus Mohammad Ahsan. This is the big one for me. Do we have Goldberg and Ahsan take place, or do we have Ahsan defend in that King of the Mountain match? Reason why I want to do this one is because I want to have Ahsan beat Goldberg. Goldberg is kind of, he's beaten Abyss, he's beaten Jeff Jarrett, he's kind of the next guy in line to get a title shot. We're lacking faces right now. Jeff Hardy and Fallen Angel are our two top baby faces, and they've already taken on Mohammad Ahsan, so there's really no one else. You got AJ Styles, he's now in the X Division. Christian and Jericho, they're feuding against each other, so we're lacking baby faces, so really the only other option is Sting or Goldberg. We decided to go in a different direction with Sting, and Sting and Ahsan would not be very good anyways. So I figured we could go with Goldberg and Ahsan. But then, as well as that, you know, we add in Paul Heyman, which is obviously Goldberg's manager at the moment. We haven't done a lot with Paul, to be fair, with Goldberg. But we add that in. Lashley is returning. So what I'm thinking is that we could have Goldberg and Ahsan take place, and then in the match, Lashley comes out and is, you know, screws over Goldberg, costs him the match. So Goldberg loses, not a clean loss though. Goldberg loses, and Paul Heyman turns on Goldberg, joins up with Lashley, and then we have Goldberg versus Lashley, perhaps culminating at Bound for Glory. So, and then at Bound for Glory, you could have Goldberg put over Lashley, and potentially that could be Goldberg's last match, depending if we want to keep him around or not. So, I think that could work. I think that could work. Gives us the Goldberg and Ahsan match. We could have this at Slammiversary, maybe a rematch in the next pay-per-view afterwards, and then maybe you can start to turn that into Lashley and Goldberg from there. Team 3D versus America's Most Wanted makes sense. They're both teams have been feuding against Jericho and Christian. May as well have them take each other on for a match for the titles. We've seen it, we've done it before, yes, but one more time for the titles. It will be a good match. We may as well go ahead and do it. And AJ Styles and Alex Shelley. So we're going to continue that on from the Super X Cup. Realistically, you probably wouldn't mind creating a new storyline for that because the heat is quite low, but we'll, keep it realistic and we'll just keep that storyline going. So that's our new storylines. We got a fair few, and I wanted to kind of get a bit more of an in-depth detail on where my thinking, what I'm kind of thinking about that. Any comments, any thoughts, any changes, let me know. Put them in the comments down below. I'll read them, I'll check them out, I'll reply to them as well if I can, and we'll make some changes. If I feel like your comment is good, I feel like if your idea is good, we'll make some changes. Speaking of change, we have a couple of changes to our TNA Top 5. So I figured let's update this. We've got a few new people in. Here's the original one. So this is our old one. Christian, our top face, Goldberg, Jeff Hardy, Sting, AJ Styles. That was our top 5 faces. The top heels won't be too different, but it's Ahsan, Abyss, Jarrett, Steiner, and Samoa Joe. So you can already kind of think right now, yeah, there might be some changes. So let's take a look. Here's the new one. Top faces. Chris Jericho now as our number 1 babyface. Goldberg's our number 2. Ideally, I want to transition Goldberg out of being in that spot. I want to have someone else take that spot. Jeff Hardy, number 3. Unfortunately, Jeff's let me down a little bit. I'm a little disappointed in Jeff. Won't be long until probably AJ Styles will take his spot, potentially. Fallen Angel, surprisingly, he's the surprise one here, has risen from the depths of below, now into the top 5 spot. Really out of necessity. I've kind of noticed that we're really heel heavy at the moment in our top tier names, but we're kind of making a couple adjustments here and there. But we are obviously, we're turning Lashley, we're turning Sting. We are kind of, heel heavy. Turning Christian as well. So we're going to be very heel heavy. So you might have to find, we might have to either turn, someone else. Maybe A-Train. I'm looking at A-Train now. A-Train, not a great heel at all. So he's not a good choice. Scott Steiner's not a great heel either. Obviously want to do the main event Mafia. Same with Sting. So we're lacking a little bit here. But then you look at the upper mid-carders. Again, we're really lacking the upper mid-carders. Looking to turn Homicide face though, so that'll fix that a little bit. Yes, and Samoa Joe, you could turn him. He's a better face than a heel. So you might find that you might need to go with a turn for Joe. But he is in the top 5 heels, so you might look at someone else instead to make that turn, to make that adjustment. But anyways, back to it. So top heels, Ahsan, still number 1. He's still the guy we're going with, despite maybe some lackluster pay-per-view performances in recent times. He's still the guy. He's still the number 1 guy for me. 91 popularity. Christian, he's not a heel yet, but pretty much he will be very, very soon. He'll be number 2. Yes, he'll play second fiddle to Ahsan. Potentially Christian could leapfrog him in the future, but for right now, we'll go with Ahsan over him. Abyss is the unlucky one. He's the most popular guy in the company, believe it or not. Abyss is technically our most popular top tier name, but yet we keep on putting him down. He's gone from number 2 down to number 3. Will he ever get the world title? I don't know. He's one of those guys where he's so good, but do you ever give him the full ball? I don't know. Do you let him run with it? Jeff Jarrett as well. He's hanging on to that spot. That's going to climb down and down. We've really lost interest in Jeff Jarrett, to be honest. Plus he's 40, so he's one of those guys you'll stick in the main event Mafia as that veteran, but will I ever give him a world title? Very unlikely. And Samoa Joe as well. So he's now snuck in the top 5. His popularity needs to improve, but I put him in there because these are the top 10 people that I'm going to push most likely. I'm more in favor to push. So we'll go with that. But I just thought I'd update you on that and kind of where I'm thinking. We've got an Impact show we need to sort out. So let's get this underway. We need to take a look and figure out what we're going to do with this Christian and Jericho situation. Matt Sydal, that's good. That's good. That's good and good. So all good news. That's nice. I like it when we have good news. We don't always get good news all the time. One other little thing as well. Alberto Del Rio, Alberto El Patron. We've got a connection right now with CMLL. They are currently our a part of our alliance. So I wanted to have a couple of my guys go overseas and work over there, but not doing a lot with. I think Eric Young was one. It might have been Chris Hero the other. Yeah, so Chris Hero and Eric Young. We'll put them over there just to give them more experience, work over there as well, maybe improve their popularity in Mexico, for example. Get them some matches because they're not getting many matches right now. In exchange, I wanted to get Del Rio here because I wanted just to give him some airtime in the US and improve his popularity here, so he'll be more useful and more viable as a potential name down the line. So that's, just a little thing that I like to do. If I can utilize some, no-name guys that will be something in the future and make sure they get that popularity in the future. Alright, so let's book this week's Impact. Alright, so Impact this week, the results are... We open the show off with Roddy Piper announcing that Christian and Jericho will team up again to take on Storm and Harris in the main event tonight. We followed up by the announcers making it known that Sting will be on the show and he will be making an appearance. Bit of a rare one. We haven't seen Sting in a little bit, so we're going to use Sting here tonight. And then A-Train just destroy Del Rio real quick just to give A-Train a win. He hasn't had a lot of wins as of late. He loses a little bit too much for my liking. So I think I'm going to spend some time in the next month or so just rebuilding A-Train up. Obviously, Bound for Glory series coming up. We'll try and make him look good before the Bound for Glory series starts. And we used El Patron just to give him some TV exposure. Gail Kim promo on Lita, starting that feud. Then we had Gail Kim and Awesome Kong team up and beat Sarita and Taylor Wilde. Awesome Kong 70, Gail Kim 77. Sarita and Taylor Wilde had great chemistry while teaming up together. Sarita 74. Alright, so we might have to go Sarita and Taylor Wilde as a team because great chemistry. Well, you got to make the most of it, don't you? We then had Abyss backstage arguing with Fallen Angel. Angel steps up to Abyss, but Test and Kevin Thorne arrive to support Abyss. Angel has no choice to back off. So we started the King of the Mountain storyline there with two guys who have been confirmed to be in it, kind of arguing and kind of getting in each other's face about the matchup. Then we had that match lead to a Fallen Angel Kevin Thorne match. Angel 95, Kevin Thorne 57, and Fallen Angel gets a victory. Also building up Fallen Angel a little bit there and kind of continuing that storyline a bit as well. Matt Morgan cut a promo on Shinsuke Nakamura, saying that he's easily going to beat him. So he's kind of underestimating him. Nakamura's a bit of an underdog right now. Matt Morgan's underestimating him. Doesn't really think that he will lose to him. Doesn't really think Nakamura has a chance at all. And here we go. So Sting, he comes out. He teases that he's going to retire. He talks about his recent woes. Look, things aren't going my way. I'm getting up there in age right now. I'm kind of thinking about my career. Should I go? Should I stay? And just when you think he's about to say the words, I'm done, I'm going to retire, Scott Steiner's music hits. He comes out and confronts Sting and ends up beating him down. So Scott Steiner comes out and beats him down, I guess essentially, to keep his career going, send a bit of a message to Sting. So I guess what you could do with this storyline is that Steiner beats down Sting, and eventually Steiner beating Sting or attacking Sting kind of lit the fire back under Sting again and kind of motivated him to wrestle again. And then you can kind of have Sting thank Scott Steiner for helping resurrect his career, form this main event mafia and go from there. So I guess you can kind of fill in the blanks there. 95 rated for that. Styles versus Chris Sabin. Obviously Styles and Shelley will happen down the line, but we went with this one just to, continue on this feud. Styles at 95, Sabin 87, 89 rated match. So very, very good match actually. And we had Alex Shelley on commentary as well, talking over the match while it happened. Afterwards, Shelley and Sabin beat down AJ Styles. So we were worried about the low heat with this feud. Couple of good segments there that should help bring it up a bit. In the main event, Jericho and Christian versus America's Most Wanted. We had America's Most Wanted win, so they defend the titles. They won by Chris Jericho being turned on by Christian. So Christian basically walked out on his partner, or turned on his partner, attacked Jericho, and allowed America's Most Wanted to pick up the victory. So we're going to handle these changes here, complete the turn. The turn was a complete success. So it's official, the turn has happened. Then afterwards, Christian continues to attack Jericho. He gets on the mic, he runs down Jericho talking trash, and then, so Christian attacks Jericho and beats him down, essentially. So we go there, we end with that. Wow, 96 rated episode of Impact. And I gotta say, when I was booking this show, I really felt like this whole show connected nicely, just kind of flowed well, and I covered every storyline. I've gotta say, I think this is probably one of the better shows that I've booked, and to get 96 because of it really makes me feel good, because I think when I was certainly booking it, I felt like it was going to be a good one. Even though we had a couple of things in between that you might say, well, that was kind of shitty, but our main matches, the main event was good, we had a strong opener, we had a good match in between with Styles and Sabin, we had a couple of good segments as well with the Sting tease. The only thing we didn't really cover was Goldberg and Ahsan, but that's because we kind of focused on Sting and Steiner. So next week we can cover that. But there you go, 96. That could actually be our best ever show. That could be our best ever show. And I gotta say, I'm really happy. Like I said, I think that was a good one. I think we did a good job booking that show and making the most out of that, and having a lot of storylines being covered and makes sense, which I think is something I kind of lack a little bit. I feel like I haven't created enough storyline and made things a little bit, make sense enough. We just kind of throw it together. I think today we kind of made things make a bit more sense. So Cody Rhodes still wants to be brought up to the main event, to the main roster. So, it's tempting. I feel like he's still too young. He's only 21. It's still too soon. But if he wants to be brought up, he wants to be brought up. What can you do? Impact 7.89 TV rating. I'll have to see if that's our best ever as well. Let's take a quick look and use the stats. No, not quite. 7.97 is our best ever. Our best ever show was Against All Odds, so that was still 96. So we equaled our best ever show, which is fantastic, really fantastic. Equaled our best ever show. And I gotta say, I think it was a good one, definitely. Albatrone, so he went from really no popularity up to about 15, 20 in a couple of regions. Good, that's good. Use him a couple times whilst he's here, and utilize him in that way. The reason why we're worried about A-Train is you see he's got 4 wins, 4 losses. He had 3 and 4 before that match. Just needs a few wins to get him some, momentum going. One guy though, we talked about loser leaves TNA match. I was just taking a quick look earlier on before we started recording. I looked at Sonjay Dutt, and I looked at him and I thought to myself, has Sonjay Dutt ever won a match? Have I ever booked him to win a match here in TNA? And I looked at it and went, okay, he hasn't won a match this year, no surprise. He has never won a match the whole time he's been here. We have never given him a victory. 0 wins, 19 losses. Well, no wonder his popularity isn't going up. He hasn't won a friggin' match. The whole time he's been here, has not won a single match. Wow, that's unbelievable, isn't it? He has not won a single one. Even Matt Seidel's won a couple of matches. So, alright, we're going to have to give Sonjay Dutt a victory. We're going to have to give him a local job or a Del Rio or someone and give him a victory. He needs one. He deserves one. Losing all this time, he deserves something. Sting, his popularity might have went up a little bit with that promo. I think it might have been 81 before this. Yeah, definitely 81 in a few regions. So it's now 82 across the board. That's good news. A good segment and a bit of improvement. Scotty Steiner also got his up maybe towards that 80 mark again. So we can get both men in the 80s and well and truly in it before Slammiversary. That will help get the best out of that match. Yeah, look, a good segment is always positive, always a good way to do it. A couple of other little things as well. I guess AJ Styles, good match. You can see he's now in the mid-80s. AJ's really on fire. It won't be long until he will be a definite challenge for the world title down the line. Just having a quick look. So Christian with the big turn now. I don't think his popularity really went up. He did lose, so that probably is where he went wrong. Jericho, on the other hand, he kind of stayed strong, whereas Christian probably dropped a little bit there. Chris Harris is nearly at 80, which is great. James Storm, he's, you know, pretty close as well, you know, maybe even closer. So both those guys benefiting a little bit from the turning thing and things like that happening, which is great. So Christian and Jericho helping out one of our best teams and kind of establishing them as top tier names, which is always good. You know, if you're going to take them out of the division, you want to give back to the division before they're done, so you make sure it's still strong before they do leave. But yeah, that's good news. I'm pretty happy with that show. Obviously, why wouldn't I be? And we've covered most things there, which is good. And just looking at the tag division, America's Most Wanted now 7-time tag team champions, which is pretty unbelievable when you think about it. The second time we've given them the championships as well. They started off as champions, and it went to the Dudleys, the Team 3D, then Jericho and Christian, and back to America's Most Wanted. Just looking at my title changes, I've been really, you know, pretty slack on doing title changes. We've done 3, you know, we only had 3 world champions in the series, and Jeff Jarrett was only champion because Christian didn't have it yet. He started as champion, so really, realistically, we've only really had 2 champions. So we got the belt off Jarrett as soon as we could. X Division is pretty similar. Joe, Angel, then Shelly. You know, so we've been really slack with our champion changes. The global titles only had 2 champions, or a couple. It's had a few, and the women's title as well. So looking at the global title, it's had, you know, Nakamura, Matt Morgan, Rhino, then Matt Morgan again. So a few more. But the women's have just been Gail Kim and Melina, both having very long title reigns. Gail Kim, you know, most of the last year, and now Melina's had it the whole this year, and probably will get a full 1-year championship reign in. So yeah, maybe we need a couple more title changes down the line, but hopefully you don't need to. Daisy Hayes, she's got called up to the WWE. I forget who she is. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, so she's in. And anyone else? No. So congrats to her, I guess. SmackDown 87. So we killed SmackDown this week, and I'm pretty happy with that. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that's where we're at right now. Any feedback on the storylines we've done, let me know. What should we do with the King of the Mountain? What should we do with Ahsan and Goldberg? Should we make it for the title, or should we just do Goldberg and Ahsan? It won't main event. I think Jericho and Christian will main event. I think that's a massive match and is above the title in a sense. We'll play it safe anyways. So it won't main event, but it'll still be high on the card. If not, I guess the King of the Mountain match could main event. We'll have to figure it out. But let me know what you think. Let me know what you know, any suggestions as well. And then maybe after Slammiversary, we might fire a few people and bring up a couple new ones. So something, I guess, to look forward to, something to think about as well. And obviously Christy Hemmy's very close, ODB's close, Cody Rhodes, he wants to, you know, move up as well. So there's a few names that do want to move up. So something to think about, something we might go with down the line. But that, you know, that's for another episode. Thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. If you can leave a like, it'll be fantastic. 100 likes, and I'll give you another episode as soon as I can. Thank you so much for supporting. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you stay notified whenever I upload. Subscribe, leave a like. Thanks for watching. See you next time.